Titles of nobility. The hierarchy of authority, from the sovereign man or woman to their family, has ever existed on any other presumed authority relative to any particular one or another outside of contract, to anyone in the family with respect to any neighborhood or in any townships or in any counties or in any states or in any country, and finally to any other type of social construct purporting to exist upon this computer-simulated flat-domed plane or otherwise. Because all such constructs are fictions of the mind in relationship to the flesh and blood, the true sovereigns of authority, existing in the earth dome main. Therefore, the divine structure of the family is the only true source of sovereignty outside of the supreme creator of all creation. Now that you know the hierarchy of authority that is mapped out, is everything running like that aforementioned line of command in today's multiple societies or constructs by which the various forms of social compacts exist anywhere? Not quite. You see, the foreign bankers knew they could not control sovereigns with this system. So, they decided to design a fictional system, which looks like the real thing but really is not. The first thing that was done was to make an entity which looked and sounded like the forms of government with which the people of the Earth dome main were familiar, such as the Federal Republic entitled United States of America. Notice that the U in United is a lowercase u. That's because it is an adjective describing the state's noun of America. What if one capitalized the U, as in United States? This would be a name, a title, wouldn't it? So, now we have a title for the Republic which was incorporated in England in 1871 as an English corporation. Does this mean we're being ruled by a private, foreign-operated corporation and not a government? Has this happened to most other such governments of Earth? Yes. In 1944, the Buck Act, Title IV, USC 104-116, took the sovereignty away from the compact party states so that the enfranchised states could also have a title as in the state of Arizona. Next came the counties and municipalities. Each had their own corporations, which usurped the organic government of the trust organically established. What the beneficiaries had then become were an inverse relationship to the original organic republican form of government as handed to them by their forefathers. Let's review history. Let's presume what the people in January 1788 did about the United States as a government, that it was in default to the Crown of England to the tune of 18 million lira, plus interest. Then, as a direct and proximate result, the U.S. corporate government was bankrupt in their private capacity from the start of the Constitution. The debt had to be paid for a period of 70 years. After a period of 70 years, if the Bible is res judicata and stare decisis, the Creator said the people and their social constructs can come out of bankruptcy with their creditors, England, on December 31, 1858. And let's say, as an operation of law, at that time some notice was given to the nation that may have gone something like this. Excuse me, do you people really want to leave Babylon and prefer to maintain the Crown of England as your master and serve him faithfully? Would you rather have that liberty back now, or would you, if you love your master and your period of service is up, you can go to the judges, recite the fact that you love your master and you don't want to leave him. You can choose to serve him for the rest of your life by placing yourself into voluntary servitude. After December 31, 1858, did the Crown of England, through its attorney agents, give notice to the country, "Hey, you guys want to leave Britain, Babylon, and go back to the original jurisdiction which your forefathers established for your benefit? Or do you want to have your government remain under us?" Now remember, this could have only pertained to the posterity of the original signatories to the social compact. The rest of the people walking around have never emerged into any form of social compact to establish their political status according to international public order. Thereby, they are considered subjects of the jurisdiction for which they are either found in, or reside in, or otherwise. Apparently, the southern states did not wish to remain under slavery, and walked out of representative United States and Congress assembled. Evidently what happened is, the other people to which the social compact applied failed to give notice of lawful protest. This was their acquiescent divine right to vote to remain in Britain, Babylon, under the Crown of England with continuing debt, plus a reorganization of government. Thus, having failed to do so, they remained under the new law form because the old law form to which they were entitled to, that is, liberty and freedom, was abdicated. The southern members of the Social Compact Party states walked out, ending the public side of the Constitution. They wanted nothing to do with continued servitude, and so noticed the representative agency Congress of the Union, and the other various governments concerned, Britain. The people did not want foreign ownership or intrigue in their local politics to override their own governmental structures of self-government. The Compact Party members of the northern states did not protest in any manner because they were busy fighting the Civil War, which was foisted upon them through misrepresentation and intrigue by these same foreign agents. Therefore, at the end of such conflict, they were handed a new law form to which all northern people volunteered into. This was to go on for another 70 years of captivity, and subjected their fellow southern brethren to the social compact in like kind to perpetual slavery, and/or involuntary servitude without their free will consent, into the new forum by force of arms. Nothing settled by force is ever settled at all. Free will is the true test of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and any time force is used to hold any condition or union together, other than to cast such condition out to keep the peace, for breach of contract is illegal and immoral. Any other form of choice is no choice at all. It is an affront against the divine Creator's will of liberty, granted to each and every living man and woman. Original jurisdiction. You may use several law dictionaries to look up meanings for law and legal terms. It depends on the author and publisher as to which law form they publish. If you read Black's Law Dictionary, you're going to get one opinion of one point of view. If you're reading Bouvier's or Ballantyne's, you might be getting another point of view. We state this here because Black's Law Dictionary came out shortly after this new constitution was formed in 1887. Black's Law Dictionary was first published in 1891. That was 20 years, a time of prescription, after the corporate United States came into full force and effect by the Act of February 21, 1871. What does Black's Law Dictionary define? It defines the terms, the legal meanings of words as they apply to the bifurcated United States Corporation. Roughly every 20 years there has been a new edition of Black's because every 20-year period in use is in the bifurcation. If anyone failed to give a notice of lawful protest, they would go on to the next stage and say, let's change it again to see if we can go a little further, and we'll see if anybody protests this. As you go through any such 20-year segments, 1871, 1891, 1911, 1931, 1951, 1971, 1991, you get different definitions within Black's Law Dictionary. Remember, bifurcated means separated. The newly incorporated United States is separated from the original jurisdiction, even separated entirely from the Constitution of the Republican form of government as established by the U.S. Constitution. Remember that the original Constitution came in with the fact that it contains both the private side and public side, appertaining to the residual sovereignty of the original signatories. This was passed by hereditary birthrights by way of such reservations, limitations and restrictions, for example Article 6 and the attendant Articles of Amendment within the Compact over their creation to which their posterity received as beneficiaries, by contract through the Trust Indenture Constitution, creating the Social Compact. See the preamble to the Constitution. The private side of government can never be changed. The private side of government is based upon the laws of nature and nature's creator, and those laws never change. So the public side of government, which we call general jurisdiction, is different from original jurisdiction. Their original jurisdiction is based on the laws of nature and nature's creator, which are the powers assumed by peoples acquiring by such declarations their separate and equal station, and establishing the forms of original jurisdictions of government by social compact to secure the peace, safety and happiness for themselves and their posterity. The laws of nature that nature's creator entitles them to can never change. Only the forms which people use to implement the reasons for which they create any society, for their benefit, to secure the peace, safety, and the pursuit of happiness according to the dictates of their beliefs, customs, and practices of such, not only for themselves but for their posterity, can change. Could you amend the original jurisdiction? Why would you amend the social compact to change that which never changes? Unless you intend to change the very structure of society of the social compact as a whole, to which the original jurisdiction was created, to protect and pass such protections by birthright, to the posterity by the will of the creators, through their testament constitution thereto, there is no reason to do so. To do so would be diametrically opposed to the dialectical will and testament, lex scripta, of the creators of such social compact, leading to a rebellious war with the laws of nature and nature's creators' established pillars of universal law, via which any and all such social compacts was justly created. To ignore the intent and purposes of the creators of such social compacts would bring about utter chaos, a breach of the peace of the international public order to which any other original jurisdictions have come to rely upon to maintain the general order of the public arena between them in relation to their intercourse, to which such treaties are established, to secure the blessings of the variety of such societies in creation, as those so created and governed by the pillars of universal law, is a treason against each and every walk of life on planet Earth. Such actions, which tend to create chaos, tend to arise from the disrespect of one's ancestors and their refusal to learn the lessons of their predecessors. So, original jurisdiction is and always remains exactly what it is. It never changes. Only from time to time does the situation arise out of necessity to ordain new constructs for the purposes so delineated ut supra. What is the law? The law never changes. It is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Contract is governed by the doctrine of four corners, or that which is expressed in terms on some form of medium, as to be an accepted custom and practice as lex scripta, and in very rare circumstances with exacting evidence to support such, is by such custom and practices recognized as a maxim of law, so well known for it to be unnecessary to put it in written formality, thus becoming known as lex non scripta, by such general acceptance or general acquiescence. This definition of contract is derived from the principles of the doctrines of the maxims of law that have been developed down through the millennium of jurisprudence of mankind guided by the divine spirit of truth, as recognized by not just one society but which each and every one of these societies are founded upon. These are the same maxims which we have referred to as the Supreme Creator's pillars of universal laws. Now we move to the public side of any social compact. What is this side? The side that is amended from time to time, but does not change in respect to intent. That is the public administration side of the various social compacts, and/or their respective agency side of these governing compacts. Is the public government law? Yes. This law affects and controls anyone who is a signatory to some overlying above the constitutional compact, contract conditioned upon the ability to create such agency relationship arising from the social compacts respective thereto, and to whom such agencies are to be bound within any administrative manner relative thereto, and further, in relationship to their consideration given for performance of certain conditions governed thereby, concerning any such overlying treaty, contract. Furthermore, it is contract which establishes and governs any means to create internal and external management policies and procedures, such as venues, forums and/or jurisdictions rules, and/or regulations thereby which to inform parties to whom such concerns or however their law is known, as it may apply or not and to whomever, to help determine their use and their procedure applying to their assets and their property, belonging to their private and any corporate side of their public side of government created to give order within their social compact relative to any foreign exchange from the public side of government to the private side of government. Just think for a minute, does a private owner of a business or property have any political right to make his own rules, regulations, and law for use of his own property? Yes, he does. That is exactly what their statutes, regulations, and rules are. They are internal management policies and procedures. They deal with their property and assets of their private side of their government in relationship to any agency public side of their government. In 1871, did all walks of life not signatory to any other such social compact fall under their incorporated jurisdiction of their private government? Yes and no. Only those who lived in their city of Washington, their District of Columbia, and/or their United States and its territories and any and all registered voters, 14th Amendment slaves, citizens pursuant to their 15th Article of Amendment. Now on to the second part of this answer, no. Due to the fact that all walks of life have a choice to emerge into any other political status freely determined by that people to proclaim their separate and equal station, and assume among the powers of earth, their separate and equal station to which nature's law and nature's creator entitled them within the framework of the international public order. The particular conflict known as the Civil War between the several states of the Union did not touch upon all walks of life. What all walks of life within any locale of that or any other conflict continually educates others to believe is that those of the social compact, those who formed and/or presently administer any such social compact, are serving all interests. In fact, such compact party members thereof are simply carrying out their design of action for their own private reasons and gain. By controlling their centers of education relative from childhood throughout adulthood, members of such social compacts continue to teach others outside of such compact that there is some duty owed or allegiance given on the part of those of the various walks of life. But for all intents and purposes, in reality, such walks of life do not owe either, bearing in mind that they are neither a party signatory to such social compact nor directly related by blood as one of their posterity thereof. Therefore such walks of life have little or nothing whatsoever to do with a social compact known as the several states of the Union, commonly referred to as the United States of America, not unlike so many others before them who had been so enticed, appertaining to others outside such social compacts, those not signatory or related by blood to those signatory to the compact, and drawn into conflicts then at hand or otherwise. This type of education upon all walks of life helps firm up positions from either side of any conflict for the particular party's own private reasons, whether or not those reasons were just in any eyes of those foreign or otherwise to their compact or not. Through such misrepresentations and conditioning of the minds of those foreign to their social compact, were their members to their compact successful at controlling the outcome of that particular conflict, or otherwise from the outset. From an assumed and definite presumed authority that those outside their compact believed as educated by member agencies of the various social compacts truly had or have any rightful authority to do so upon a vast populace. This same type of educational program continues to perpetrate the same mindset to keep all walks of life under various forms of control to this very day. They will continue to do so with their same tools of misrepresentations and false education. Whenever any such conflict arises in respect to the needs of their members of their social compacts, all the sovereign peoples of Earth shall remain fodder for these compacts until these sovereign people become aware of the supreme law, treaty, and how to use private international law within the international public order, for which all social compacts are founded upon, for their benefit for those who choose or wish to emerge into any other political status, for whatever various reasons, into a social compact for their own safety, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Rather than to continue to exist for others who have done so for whatever private reason. Those walks of life who continue to refuse to emerge into whatever form of compact for their benefit will always be at the mercy of those who have, without exception. Returning now to further comment upon the original private corporate government back in 1789, appertaining to the social compact known as the United States, this social compact was established on certain principles and rules. But as we've seen, it went through a bankruptcy almost right away, and with each stage of their bankruptcy, there was reorganization. Reorganization creates a new set of circumstances, and probably a new set of creditors and/or masters with rules to discharge their old bankruptcy. Roughly every 20 years you have a reorganization, you get different changes in the rules and regulations, and it just goes on and on. As the proprietors and creditors of their private law forum, it goes into worse and worse bankruptcy, creating tighter and tighter rules in order to raise revenue to keep things going, and that is what you see today. Look at the back of one of your so-called bills. Do you see an Egyptian pyramid? This is the symbol and logo of the U.S. Treasury. Have you observed the architecture of Washington, D.C. with its Egyptian monoliths, columns, stairways, and corinths? What are the colors of Egypt? Red, white, and blue. What is the symbol of Egypt? The five-pointed star. Egypt means hemmed in or boxed in. District of Columbia is assumed to be a 10-mile square. The District, United States of Columbia, was started by the Illuminati, a Masonic group that originated in Egypt. What do you think the Illuminati called the United States? You guessed it, New Egypt. If you are noticing any similarities here, feel free to discuss them with others among those who seek the truth of history, locally or otherwise. Is America the land of the free? Indentured servants in Europe were frequently offered the option to go to a mass of land known as America and work off their assumed debt to those they owed money, and sometimes their life. Many took the gamble and found that they were able to pay off their debts much easier and faster in the land of opportunity than they could have by staying in Europe. United States, the corporation. In 1871, the United States incorporated in England, and therefore became an English corporation under the rule of the Rothschild crown. As you will see, corporations are not governments. They can only rule by contracts through corporate copyrighted policy. How can a corporation have authority over you? Only by and within the framework and forecomers doctrine of contract law. A state as defined in 28 U.S.C. subsection 1331. Define the following words in a standard dictionary including derivations: corporation, law, legal, lie, color of law, rights, benefit, certificate, application, attorney, represent, organization, organ, work, policy, copyright, private. Now define the following words and phrases in a Black's dictionary: color of law, represent, rights, benefit, privilege, corporation, artificial entity, person, body, individual, citizen, intern, revenue, internal revenue, bankruptcy, resident, occupant, dweller, habitant, reside, indicia, address, taxpayer, debtor. Please take the time to educate yourself and not continually rely upon others to speak for you or explain what they have learned and for which you have failed to take the time to delve out for yourself, so that the knowledge you received by and through repetitious study becomes a tool of wisdom for each and every one of you who watches my videos. United States and the Secured Party. Due to the immediate bankruptcy since their Revolutionary War, their United States has been under many bankruptcy reorganizations. There are only two groups of people in this situation that we have today: the creditors and the debtors. Their creditor is also called a secured party because his interest is secured and not able to be taken away by any debtor. Who gave any consideration to make the Federal Reserve notes, bills, and bonds, otherwise known in today's commerce as currency or legal tender? The 73rd Congress of March 9, 1933 said, "It, the new currency, will be worth 100 cents on the dollar and will represent the credit of their nation. It will represent a mortgage on all the homes and the property of the people of the nation." If United States received the benefit of the credit that all walks of life extended to them, does that make them the debtor or the creditor? United States employees even know who you are, a creditor. Therefore, it's time we begin acting like the creditors that we truly